Mario, a year ago when we all sat in this room, it was all the talk was about a rebuild and what it would take to get Oregon back on the right track. And I know you touched on this a little bit already, but
yes, sir.
A year later, after all the work you guys have did, what's kind of your evaluation of where you guys are at right now and how you guys can go forward from there?
Got a strong foundation now. I think especially at the line of scrimmage, I can't emphasize enough, those guys have played with toughness and energy. They've knocked back, our opponents and have set the tone on a game-by-game basis on both sides of the ball. Disruptive on defense and at the line of scrimmage on offense, it's been, oftentimes dominant, not only controlling the line of scrimmage, but being dominant. And then, obviously everybody always talks about we were much different in terms of productivity, when Justin was playing. But let me tell you, I want to give credit to Braxton. I don't think any one of us that have been freshmen at some point in time in college would like to be thrown out there and try to run around and complete a few passes in front of these Pac-12 crowds. And that's tough stuff. He's going to be a great football player. But I think the foundation is strong. And I think that's the best part about this is the continuity that this comes with allows our players to have absolutely no anxiety going into the offseason. I thought the seniors made a pretty neat point. They're like, hey, when we come back, we'd like to see some familiar faces, And the younger guys were like, well, as we head into the offseason, we'd like for the coaches to know our name instead of wearing a name tag or a strip of tape that have our name on it. Because all this time we spent building these relationships, it's wiped away. So that's where I think the foundation of the actual football part of it, as well as the rest, the relationship with our players, is pretty strong, and it's right for us to continue elevating, and we have to. The plan is to elevate the standard.
In the middle, Matt.
It's kind of a two-parter. You have a football game in 8 days, but you also have a signing day in 12. Mm-hmm. What's your timeline for recruiting, and kind of what are the goals you want to get accomplished, and then just what would be your message to the class that's currently committed right now? Yeah,
you'd probably be better off to ask what's your timeline for sleep. You're not going to have any. You got to roll. You have to roll. This new signing period, this is one of the things that comes with all of a sudden our bowl picture, and we're excited as can be to be at the Las Vegas Bowl. But we were there during the originally planned last official visit. So one of the weekends is lost, and that's part of it. You just have to deal with it. The message to recruits is the movement hasn't stopped. It's only going to get stronger. And I know a lot of them, I guess I'm not allowed to speak about recruiting. Compliance is in here. I will abide always. But our efforts in recruiting have been incredible, and they're not going to cease. They're only going to get stronger, right? And this is a three-pronged kind of deal, right? It's talent acquisition, right? Player development, and then personnel use. Well, every single year, you cannot miss on a year-by-year. You can't have 3 good classes, 1 bad one. You can't have, well, we hit on offensive line, but we didn't get wide receiver. You have to hit on all cylinders every single year, not only to attain greatness and championship levels, but to sustain it. Okay, and everybody's working hard at it. The time frame is short. At the same time, we're on national TV. We're one of the early games. It's an incredible opportunity for our program to set an identity, put it in stone, and send a message that the Ducks are here, and the Ducks are on their way up, and on their way up fast.
In the middle.
Coach, you mentioned your parents being from Cuba,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just wondering about the lessons that you've learned from them that you've been able to apply to your players now.
Well, they were just relentless in terms of their approach to work. You can imagine in 1960, 61, arriving in the United States of America, not knowing the language and trying to raise a family, having to work 2 jobs and then going to night school to try to learn the language. So I didn't speak English until I was like 5 or 6 years old, whatever it was. So I could have been a great, one of those backups for Que Pasa USA, that show, incredible show, but they just found a way. I look at these guys over there. I always tell them, man, I never had that football, right? That cool football that you throw in that little hovercraft and all that, the values were incredible. There's just no complaints. A lot of people like to say, well, we had it, I didn't have them around. Well, I had them around, but they were just always working, and they just found a way, and they never ever gave any kind of reason for not getting it done. And my dad passed in '96. Mom's still down in Miami. An incredible domino player. She will kill everybody in this room at dominoes. You got no shot at beating Clara Cristobal, but it's how you want to be as a parent. It's what you want to be.
You're on the left, Aaron.
Coach, will you continue to coach a position or will you call plays, or will the new offensive coordinator call plays? And then, of course, the most important question, will swag surfing survive this change?
Swag surfing is surviving, and it has to be bigger and stronger. That's the most important question. Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. Yeah, I will be coaching the offensive line, and Marcus Arroyo will be the full-time play caller. Okay, he's done an excellent job. Love working with him. You know, whenever you take a co-coordinator job, you want, hey, man, you know, I like this, you like that, come on, man, you know, and it's been fun, you know, even though I'm more of a 70s baby, he's an 80s baby. There's overlap there, you know. Tommy Boy was around, and, you know, he wasn't quite there for Saturday Night Live, but there's some common things we can talk about. But him, I can't mention all these guys enough. Dante Pimpleton, Mike Johnson, I mean, the graduate assistants and the analysts, you know, Matt Neuer, Cody Woodle, and David Gilbertson. You know, I'm going to miss one, and they're going to let me have it later. And then the defensive guys, you know, mentioned Coach Levitt earlier, and Joe Salavea. I mean, these guys are so impactful. Keith, you know, Hayward, Charles Clark. I mean, Raymond Woody, just incredible staff. Kwame, you know, Kikes, all these guys. And a lot of time invested to get this thing going. So, yeah, I can't be a stand-around coach. I would absolutely lose my mind. Can't do it. Well, Arroyo will be, yes. You're good at this question stuff, man. Put you around the spot, you know. Yeah, he is. I'll tell you, he's been an incredible influence on Justin. And I know that Justin was glad, and the rest of the guys were glad to see all these guys, you know, this here today.
Right over here on the right, Gary, right in the middle.
Yeah, about the offense. You know, I've seen a lot of teams that run the spread, but they go behind under center too. And
Yes,
with
sir.
Justin Herbert, potential pro capability, you think we can see a little more variation there, maybe a little in formations that we haven't been almost exclusive spread for the last 6-7 years?
Yeah, well, you'll as you watch us from the beginning of the year to the end, we're very different at the end. At the beginning of the year, it's a read zone offense. By the end, you've got those large animals up there pinning and pulling and running power, one back power, two back power, outside zone weak and strong, pin and pull to the weak side as well, the screen game. We became much more multiple than we were upon, you know, during the beginning of the season. And when you have a guy like Justin, you got to continue to open up the playbook. This guy's incredibly smart now. I mean, this guy understands protections. Like, you know, we always have that conversation. I say the center's smarter. They say the quarterback's smarter. So it's kind of a race to see who can flip-flop a protection or flip-flop a play to put us in an advantage situation. And we have that luxury with both guys. So you'll see us continue to evolve. You can't stay the same. One of the big things that I'm a believer in and having learned at the last place I was at is every offseason, every coach has to go and spend 2 days learning something new and bringing it back to us to gain an advantage. You cannot stay the same in college football and expect to have continued success. The game is changing all the time. We've got access to so many professional teams nearby. We all have friends in the industry that we can go visit. That is a must. And when you come back, you've got to give a full presentation. So it's not like, you know, you're going to go and hang out and eat cotton candy and come back and say, hey, I learned this new play. So we put a lot of emphasis on that because it's also my responsibility as a head coach to develop our position and assistant coaches and do my best to help develop the coordinators as well. And as a head coach, if you're not doing that, I think you're doing a disservice to your staff members.
We got time for one more. Right there over in the intro. Do you have a preference between, please talk into the microphone. Thank you.
Do you have a preference between the 4-3 and the 3-4 defense?
Well, to me, it's situational, and we've done it both this year. If you look at us on first and second down, we're very different than we are on third down. If you look at us versus base personnel, I mean 21 personnel, two backs, tight end, we're much more of an odd front, an odd tight front, but you look at us against some of the spread stuff, we're more of a 4-down front as it relates to the circumstance and situational football. So to say one or the other, I don't think many teams are just honed in on one particular front. What you see is the inside schemes were better defended out of the odd front, the 3-down. But remember, 3-down is a shrunk defensive end with a stand-up linebacker. He's one shade away from being a 4-down. So it's very multiple. You know, it's I think sometimes it's labeled as this or that, but there's a lot of overlap between both. Now, I hope that answers the question, just so that you understand it's as from where we're coming from. is that you've got to have that multiplicity. Are you? All right. I'm going. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it. Honor to be here. Go Ducks.
What a benefit to have seen him for a full year, learn the man, his family, and how much his players respect him. I've been here a long time, and I can honestly say I am really excited for the coming season of Oregon football. Thank you again for such short notice for being here. A very special day for us, and I know many of the media would like to talk to some players. We actually have some out of the hall for you, so if you'd like to go out and get some comments from them. Once again, thank you so very much, and always, go Ducks.